Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike, he's Jay. We have a tier on Patreon. I'm sorry, I scared you right
You
there.
did a little bit, but I was fine.
It's gonna be okay, Jay.
No, it wasn't.
We have a tier on Patreon called Immortality is Yours. Take it, where you can request us to review a movie for you and we'll do it. And Grant Steele, you son of a bitch, I love you so much I can't take it at night because you picked one of my top 10 favorite films of all time, 7.
And by the way, Grant Steele, you should definitely join the Steel Dragons. Yeah, like we were just talking about it a second ago. Steel, like your name sounds fucking great. You sound like a sergeant from Vietnam. Like Grant Steele got me through the worst parts of my life.
Sound like you could be the lead in a Robert Ludlum novel.
You could be a bad guy at fucking James Bond. My name is Grant Steele.
Grant Steele. You got a badass name. You're an awesome fucking dude, and you picked an amazing fucking movie. And I've said fucking enough now. Dude, the first time I watched this movie, okay. I
knew it!
I did.
I knew it.
I stayed home from
Brad
school.
Pitt.
Back in the day when we were kids, what you could do is you can go, if your parents had cable, you could go on there and just order movies and shit, and they wouldn't know about it till the end of the month.
I was always the best.
You wouldn't get in trouble till later.
Till later.
I sat there eating my tub of ramen fucking noodles and watched this in my underpants. And at the end of the movie, it was one of those movie moments where you just go, fuck, I love movies. David Fincher directed this, and this was actually his first movie. Now, people are going to say he directed Alien 3 first, but he doesn't claim that piece of shit because the studio took it over, and he literally, like, fought to have his name taken off of it.
That's like when somebody takes a major shit in a house that's not theirs. Like, I didn't do it.
This is why I say David Fincher is my favorite director of all time. His first legit fucking movie was 7.
Yeah, Seven's got. It's got one of those, like, I don't know. It's like a helter-skelter kind of crazy ass fucking thing about it, and the acting is amazing all the way around the entire movie. And it, like when I meant, like, is it horror? You can make the argument that there is a lot of horror elements in it, but it's more of a psychological thriller. But they do add the horror element. David Fincher does a good job of blending those two together into a way that you're like, fucking damn.
It's also a buddy cop film. It's also a noir film. It's a ton of shit, man.
Well, I don't know. See, buddy cop, they don't really have a mutual respect. Because like Morgan Freeman is like Qui-Gon Jinn to his Anakin Skywalker. He's like, Anakin! He's like, I fucking hate everybody. Fuck you, man.
But
Fuck you.
Brad Pitt doesn't want that though. Like I love because they meet for the first time because Brad Pitt's been transferred to this department or whatever.
He asked for it.
Yes, yeah, he asked for it.
He wants it.
Yes, and then the opening of the movie's badass too because you got that weird like even before David Fincher used Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross to do his scores for him, you got that feel to it. The main song from the movie was that Hey 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 I'm Guilty song, which is fucking badass. But the opening credits alone were super badass the way they were done.
We always mention like how you feel hungover. That's exactly how you're trying to stitch together the night before. It's like, and you just see like weird shit that you like. It
just felt goth and metal and awesome. And so Brad Pitt's character gets transferred to this department because he wants to be. Morgan Freeman's about to retire, and Morgan Freeman's going through a crossroads in life because he's like, I'm just done with this shit. People fucking suck. I see people get raped and their eyes cut out in the street and nobody gives a fuck. And Brad Pitt's this hopeful type of guy who wants to show up and he actually thinks he can do some good.
You care.
You want to know? Damn right.
And you're gonna make a difference.
Whatever. The point is that I don't think you're quitting because you believe these things you say. I don't. I think you want to believe them because you're quitting. You want me to agree with you and you want me to say, yeah, you're right. It's all fucked up. It's a fucking mess. We should all go live in a fucking log cabin. But I won't.
The killer's Kevin Spacey, which you got Kevin
Spacey
in the movie.
It's John Doe.
He doesn't. You don't even find out it's Kevin Spacey till the movie's almost over. But he's doing these killings, right? And I mean, you know, fucking Seven. I don't have to explain it, but the story's amazing. The idea behind the killer's amazing. The killer's fucking fascinating. When they break into his house and he's got. I remember Morgan Freeman's line will forever resonate with me. He's like, "We could have 50 detectives on 24-hour shifts reading these, and it wouldn't make a difference."
On the subway today, a man came up to me to start a conversation. He made small talk, this lonely man talking about the weather and other things. I tried to be pleasant and accommodating, but my head began to hurt from his banality. I almost didn't notice it had happened, but I suddenly threw up all over him. He was not pleased, and I couldn't stop laughing.
That's just a day at work for me. Like, I mean, I talk to weird people all day.
And I couldn't help but just laugh. And just, dude, the killer is so, even though you barely know him, he's so deep and he's so fucked up that he's fascinating as shit. And the killings, the way he's doing them, the way he's using the 7 deadly sins against him. You got the scene where Morgan Freeman goes to the library. One of my favorite. I always think of this scene whenever I have some like homework to do or some shit. I always, in my mind, I'm always Morgan Freeman in that library where the cop the bus driver from Speed is the cop. He's like, "You're gonna miss us when you're gone." And he's like, "Maybe I will."
One of the main things that David Fincher does also really well is he's specific on how he wants to tell the story. It's not like he goes all over the place and makes it all about Brad Pitt's wife and the whole situation with them adjusting and Morgan Freeman wanting to retire but not really wanting to. They do that well enough, and he does a good enough job spending enough time there, but not to a point where you're bored. He goes about like the crime scenes and what they're about and what they mean and how they relate to the 7 deadly sins and how this guy is obsessed with it and like just the methodical
Dante,
just the methodical way of 37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks in a row. He's like poetry rhyming piece of shit, and then he gets the fucking Cliff Notes, which I would do too.
But he's ashamed of him later on. He hides him at the desk so that Morgan Freeman can't see
But
it.
he does a good job of exploring all those crime scenes and stuff, and like it just he masterfully like weaves this tale so you're always on edge, and he does the thriller thing like really well too. Like you're always like, hands sweating. Especially there's one scene when they almost find out Kevin Spacey, and there's the whole chase scene, and that's done amazingly well. And I was thinking of the line, "He's a nutbag." He's probably like dancing around in his grandma's panties, smearing peanut butter on him. Because how's that for genius? So yeah, I do again. And then they do find a mutual respect amongst each other, Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. Especially, I guess, Morgan Freeman has more of a wants you to do well kind of mentality after Gwyneth Paltrow confides in him that she's going to have a baby with Brad Pitt.
Update: Mobile, Alabama.
I mean, that whole scene was done really well. I mean, everything about the movie is done really well, and it's got a specific purpose that makes you feel a specific way, much like when you smoke pot. And at the end of the day, the fucking guy, David Fincher, he's not.
He's the best director.
No, he's not. He's not the best director. James Cameron, Telltime.
He's my favorite.
But David Fincher does this fucking film justice, and I mean, you could not. I mean, I never watched the movie before this one and went like it's fucking 10. This one, like, as soon as you're like middle of it, you're like, God damn, if I could give it 11, I would. Now, I can't wait for the sequel 8. I hear it's coming out soon. But anyway, it's still amazing, man. And if anybody disagrees and says it's fucking wrong and it's not a 10.
I've seen people give this like a 7.
Yeah, I would, because they're matching it.
I fucking mean to.
But I would say,
Mount Olympus.
Messiah. You're a movie of the week, a fucking t-shirt at best. That's what I'll say to them. They should have put that on a t-shirt. I know.
But no, dude, the entire atmosphere of the movie, like you mentioned, it's raining all the fucking time. You've got you got the not yet honed, but the blue and grays, the darkness of a David Fincher film. And the thing about 7 is, this is the most original, fascinating story that he's ever put together. Just every moment of this movie is entirely intoxicating and fucking amazing. Like I probably watch this movie at least 2 times a year.
By the way that Kevin Spacey goes about killing these people is like really inventive as shit. I mean, I gotta be like, damn.
God damn.
This picture was dated 3 days ago.
I got a hair sample, I got a stool sample, I got piss, I got fingernails. He's laughing at us.
He goes like, show me to fuck her, so I fucked her. And that guy was great too. That whole scene was insane. Yeah. Especially how they lead it up to you and they don't show you the what he was looking at. He's like, I've made this shit before. And they go to Wild Bill's Leather to find out what he made for Kevin Spacey. And then when you actually see the picture, it's a goddamn knife attached to a dildo. Yeah.
Literally go through every moment of this movie with a fine-tooth comb because I love it so goddamn much. Like I say, it's not. If you're talking about all the movies of all time in the history of the world, this is definitely gonna.
It's got probably one of the top 5 best endings of all time. Yeah, like top 5 best endings.
It's not just the ending, just the whole movie for me is my top 10 of all time, man. Like I adore this movie with all my fucking heart and soul. I want to go through the entire thing, but there's just not enough time, Jim.
There's not time.
But Brad Pitt's so fucking cool in this movie, but he's also reserved in some way. And Morgan Freeman's character is fucking fascinating. Like the guy gets up in his boxer shorts at night and throws a fucking knife at a goddamn bullseye.
I don't know why Brad Pitt was so resistant though. I would be like, yes, my lord. As soon as I talk to more, the first time he talked to me, I'd be like, teach me all you know. Like I would just everything. He's like, we have to remain calm. He's like, we have to remain calm, guys. Listen, Morgan Freeman's talking.
Just don't jerk me off. That's all I ask. Just don't jerk me off.
The voice of God.
Kevin Spacey wasn't huge at this point,
no.
too. So he played the character perfectly fucking well. And they burst into his house and he even calls him. Just everything about this movie is amazing.
I wanted that one scene at the police station, though, and he was like, Detective! Yeah, I was like, that's how Brendan Fraser goes to every audition now. He just wants attention. He's like, what have I got to do? Detective! And then like, oh shit. He's like, motherfucker. That part always got me. I mean, he's like covered in blood too. He's like, I'm the man you're looking for.
Yeah.
Like,
and
damn,
you
man.
talk about like the scene in Heat between Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, like the cafe scene. It's one of the best scenes of all time. This movie is just chock full of those moments. Every time like the craziness stops around Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt and they just have a conversation, it's amazing.
When he tells Brad Pitt at the end, you know, it was your wife and I cut off her head and shit, and he was like, and then Morgan Freeman bitch slaps the hell out of him. He's like, shut up! And then he was like, and then he looks back that and he's like, you know, she begged for the life of her and her baby. And then he looks at Morgan Freeman and, you know, Brad Pitt's fucking broke at this point. And he's like, oh, he didn't know. It reminded me of the bad guy in The Patriot. He's like, I remember you and that boy, that stupid little farm or whatever. And it's just funny. It's like, did he die? Kevin Spacey knew, the character John Doe knew exactly what to say to get him to become Wrath. And that was what Morgan Freeman did. That whole goddamn
genius, man.
He's like, throw the gun away! Throw it away! And he's like, no, tell me it was wrong! Tell me it was wrong! He's like, oh, God!
I haven't felt that since My Girl, but you stood up after it was over and you're like, is there gonna be a sequel or what? Like, what the fuck's next? Is he going to jail?
It's called
I have to know! It's bullshit!
I think that everybody, if you had saw this in theater though, it would have been the appropriate thing to do the Japanese, when they love a movie, they just silence. And then it's like this is...
I bow to it. I fucking bow to it, dude. It's one of the greatest movies ever of all time. I want to just talk about it all, and I can't.
Can't do it, man.
I seriously, man, this is it's fascinating every step of the way. When they think they got the guy and they go there and he's like strapped to the bed and he's been like slowly fucking kept alive.
I did that fucking Ric Flair, like, woo! Like I got scared. It scared the shit out of me.
The guy from Scrubs is like, you got what you deserve, and that guy's like, oh, yeah. He's like, oh fuck. He's like, everybody starts
get it, Mark, yelling out.
The rookie cop is in the corner puking his guts out.
And you see the guy go, oh my god. Yeah, dude. And when they go to that hospital, dude, that fucking doctor is the worst doctor of all time. He's like, even if his brain wasn't much, he chewed his tongue off a long time ago. And he's like, that man's probably gone through the most torture and suffering a human being can possibly go through. And he still has hell to look forward to. I was like, hey, peachy conversation. Good luck. He goes, now I gotta go to the pediatrician ward. So, I gotta go talk to the kids. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, thank you fucking bunches and bunches and bunches from the hunches for choosing this film for us to review. I mean, I haven't seen it in a bit, but we had never talked about reviewing it, I guess, for a long time on the channel, so awesome!
Yeah, if there's some fucking reason in this life that you've not seen Seven, you've got to fucking watch it.
Only Grant Steele would know that you need to review it.
It's a great movie to watch if you have homework to do later or you have some research to do and you just want to feel fucking badass. Like, I haven't felt that in a long time watching a movie where you just watch it and it makes you want to be a detective. Like, I want to be a detective when I watch this movie, man. It's so cool the way that the clues come out, the way that they figure the case out, but it's also got those horror elements with the deaths, and it's got the cool factor with Brad Pitt, it's got the buddy cop element, it's got fucking everything, and I will smite you in your fucking mouth if you say different.
Okay, well that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna smite you in his mouth with his little weenie.
If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn wham up in here. You told me to fuck her, so I did!
You know what?
I fucked her!
Oh, good!
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie. We watched a movie.